Hey guys, welcome to the very first episode, hopefully not the last, but of the, what do we call this? Daylight Dispatch with RAMZPAUL and Sacha. You like that
Yes,
title?
sure.
Yeah, so I thought it'd be a good title. And what we decided to do is just do a daily show with Sacha and I. We do night owls at times, but that's just more an evening show about cultural stuff, movies. So we thought we'd do this kind of a hybrid. We're going to talk about news stories, but it's going to be somewhat informal, and we'll see how it goes. And you're looking behind us, or you're seeing the glitch there.
Yeah.
That's a window behind us of our mountain behind us, and no, it's a green screen. But that is actually.
They probably know it's a green screen, Paul. We're not streaming outside.
Yeah, no, but that is actually a picture of the mountains where we live. So welcome here, and we will go over the news of the day, and we appreciate it. And we were talking because a lot of people said, well, where's the RAMZPAUL show? I got that a lot.
Yeah.
And I announced it on X. And then for my Substack supporters, by the way, if you're not, just join Substack. You can keep a form of everything. I made a video for the Substack. And I don't like to do shows talking about the show because that's, you kind of jump the shark at that point. But the Monday through Thursday shows, we're getting a lot of engagement. That was the prime reason for it. But I'm not against starting it again on Monday necessarily if we get more engagement. So what a lot of people do, they do like a goal. And so we kind of discuss. I'm like, if we get enough engagement, what do you say, like $50?
$50.
$50, I'll do the Monday show. So I guess a lot of people do that sort of thing.
Or for $100, you do the Monday show and Night Owls on Sunday night.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And what would you do for $1,000?
I don't know. Nobody's going to give $1,000.
Sacha will do the whole show in a Southern accent.
Yeah.
You would, yeah,
I
for
do
$1,000.
like a week of shows for $1,000.
It's a Southern accent, so yeah, we'll sell out.
What is it
money.
with you and Southern accent?
I think it's cute.
Bizarre.
Don't
maybe
you think?
I mean, it can be cute, but maybe just because I've heard it for so
well,
long.
you're around here for so long, so
Yeah.
but when you hear it, you go into rural Arkansas, you still hear it, and I enjoy it.
Yeah, because when you're in Fayetteville, you don't really hear it.
No, not really, but you get out of Fayetteville, like.
Well, because Fayetteville's a bunch of transplants from other places mostly.
Mm-hmm. But if you get in the hills like where you are, you hear that a lot. So
we should do the chats at the end too. I like the way you do that with Z-Man. I think it does flow better than interrupting constantly to do chats.
I really do too.
So?
And as I said in the show that I do, if you guys haven't checked it out, the show is still up on X and Rumble. I took it down for YouTube just to be safe because it was about a sensitive subject. It was about Shiloh calling that guy a gamer.
Yeah.
gamer. And so it could have been a little sensitive because, our vibrant Somali community that happened to be dumped into Minnesota, she just finally had enough of that. That's so sad. Like in the 70s, 80s, I was like an all white area. And now it's been like totally destroyed.
Well, and it's kind of funny. They're more upset that she says a word than the fact some pedo was running around the park.
Yeah, well,
like you should be more upset about that.
Well, it was good that we had a lot of the backlash against it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she was a symbol. It wasn't her specifically. It was just to represent people being fed up with all this.
Yeah, well, like even Matt Walsh, I was kind of shocked to see him because he went off the reservation on the Daily Wire to talk about how he was for it. Most people are for it. I haven't seen a lot of people say they're not.
Everyone's becoming like RAMZPAUL now. It's quite amazing how that is happening. What I used to say was out of bounds, and now you have Matt Walsh and these big names that are doing it. I think X becoming more free has helped it. As I talked about Z-Man last night, Bill Mitchell, if you know him, he's like a boomer cock. But even he was on X the other day saying, why is it all these looting videos are always blacks? How come? And he was like real naive being the dude. And it's not. White people do it too. Loot the stores and stuff. And like, well, post the videos of it then if you really think that happens. And they couldn't. So I thought that was pretty interesting. So we are having an Overton window change, a vibe change.
Well, I think part of it's because that guy got stabbed. That poor white kid got stabbed by that black. I think that was kind of what kicked it off.
I think it's just people got tired of the whole George Floyd, because you remember after George Floyd, They decided to worship blacks. We have to have blacks in every commercial movie. We won't throw blacks into prison. Some cities want it, like San Francisco and LA.
They have to replace characters like Queen. Is it Queen? Not Queen Elizabeth. One of the queens. There's a show. She's black now. Little Mermaid's black. It's European fairy tales. We have to replace everything with black people. You can't even see anything. I saw the shitty Back to the Future musical about a month ago. It was horrible. But Jennifer's black now. Did you know that? From Back to the Future. You just can't have white couples anymore.
And you just been watching old reruns of, what is it, Knots Landing?
Yeah.
And you said it's pretty much an all-white cast?
Yeah, for now. I mean, I don't know. It was on the air 14 seasons, so I don't know if it changes, but now it's all whites.
So it's really amazing how that changed. I think people just got fed up with it. And then corporations decided, because of George Floyd, and he deserved it, in my opinion. I don't even think the cop killed him. He was a fentanyl overdose. But they use that as Chauvin as a sacrificial lamb, and they decided not to hire whites. You remember, corporations?
Well, and that's a problem now, because you see things like that lady crashed into that plane because she wasn't paying attention. Why was she there? Probably because of affirmative action. Oh,
you're talking about that helicopter pilot? Yeah, she ignored the air traffic controller and her co-pilot.
And it's really scary when you think about it. It's just like you're on a plane and you don't have any control over who's flying the plane.
No man is going to mansplain me. Not going to mansplain me. I'm empowered. And she ran right into that. Yeah, it was. The DEI, we're seeing things crumble, and then also just all the videos every day on X of like fights at random places. There's like,
at least those are kind of funny.
Yes.
I don't like it. I don't want to be around it. But what did you see? Some black lady was going around slapping white dudes in the face, and somebody smacked her with a brick. I thought that was pretty cool. And she had this big lump on her.
I saw that was community notice. She really wasn't hit with a brick of something else, but it's too bad. She deserved it. Yeah. And it's got out of hand. So I think all of this just kind of built up, and people are frustrated with it. So it's amazing things have changed after George Floyd. And so, Z-Man and I, we did the show about that, but it's not on YouTube, but you can watch it on Rumble and X. So don't worry about that. We had a lot of fun. Our shows are getting better every week, I think. And as part of the Z-Man, what we did, I went down this road because you mentioned taking super chats at the end and power chats.
I think that's a better way to do it.
And the reason I did that with Z-Man is because I'm an old boomer, and it's hard for me to monitor the chat, look at super chats,
it is hard.
And then listen when Z-Man's talking, about some point that's somewhat complicated.
Well, it's hard to even just do the chat if you're talking like I am now. If I was to scroll through the chat, it would be distracting.
That's why I don't do it, really. Yeah. And so this is what we're going to do for the show, because it works well for my Wednesday show, and I think I like it. So and also when I watch other people's shows, I hate it when the whole stream is interrupted with
Kino Casino's like that.
Yeah, Kino Casino can be funny, but every 2 minutes, whoa, another sub, and they go on like that. It's just like, really, Borski is screaming, and it's like, turn it off then. So we keep it at the end. It just makes it better. So don't worry. We will get your super chats and your rants on Rumble, and the power chats right here. You can use those, and the Streamelements has a feature too.
And we're going for an hour, right?
Yeah, we're going for an hour. And like we said, we'll do a goal if we get, I don't know, we'll get any money today, but if we get $50, I'll do a show on Monday. So, but I thank you guys all for being here. So I got some stories, Sacha. We'll just kind of go over them.
Why are you wearing overalls on our show? I was going to ask you that before. You don't wear overalls, Paul.
Well, because that's an AI image, and I do the hillbilly wrap up, so it thinks I'm a hillbilly. The AI does. It's got this weird view of me. You need to tell
AI you're a nerd that plays D&D.
I'm a hillbilly though, because we own land in the hills of the Ozarks, so that makes me a hillbilly anyway. So. That is the situation. All right, we'll just go through some of the news of the day, and
sounds good.
And you guys chime in what you think, and I think I got a lot of stuff we can cover here.
Because I was looking at the news and I didn't see a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah, and I know you're not into the war stuff, so I held that off. I'll just talk about that on Friday. I know you're into this, the tariffs. Donald Trump He just announced today, this was the big announcement on Thursday. I thought it'd be like a new NFT or a new something he was selling. But
right, another coin.
Yeah, no, the new Trump coin. No, he's actually the agreement with the UK, a trade agreement. So I guess we're removing like the tariffs and everything between us and the UK. And what are your thoughts about this? Do you think this is a good thing? Or to me, his tariff policy, I've never quite understood is if he wants to make this going forward, or is this just a negotiating ploy to get other countries to remove their tariffs? It looks like, at least with Great Britain, it was just a negotiating ploy, but the tariffs are still on China and other countries.
I don't know if he even knows what he's doing. He flip-flops so much. The UK, they don't really make the stuff the things that seem important, the jobs got shipped away to were to China, Vietnam. They weren't so much, I don't think, to UK. I'm trying to think of stuff that I even buy from the UK. They make good cross-stitch magazines, and they make coloring books. Coloring Heaven comes from the UK. They do some pop magazines. They do like paper stuff more in tea, of course. Like I think Bigelow and Twinings, but what do they really make over there? I don't know.
Maybe I should do that for this channel. I could be like the quartering. Instead of having coffee, I can have overpriced tea.
Yeah.
If you don't know, quartering is like in trouble because he invested in this big coffee business and no one's buying his coffee.
Well, it's pretty competitive.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, and it's also because Trump also has and he's right. We were established, these are our ancestors were the British. So I think understands we have a tie close to them. Mm-hmm. But you're right. I don't think there's much. It's not so much like our jobs are going overseas to Britain.
No.
They're going to China and low-cost labor because labor is expensive in Britain. And they've been deindustrializing too.
I think most Western countries have.
Yeah, it was the idea that we would allow all these Chinese and brown people to do the factory jobs, and we would do OnlyFans and I don't know, just
even like our
email
friend,
jobs they call them. The girl email jobs.
Well, even our friend Brandon went to Japan in December, and he was talking about he got some Godzilla thing. Mm-hmm. And he said even a lot of that stuff was made in China. Like, so even Japan, he said, has outsourced a lot of their stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's why I said, I don't think a lot of countries make a lot of stuff anymore, really.
Yeah. And Trump did say yesterday a deal with China's not anytime close.
Well, that's what I feel like. I mean, I don't know. I don't really care about the UK because, like I said, I don't think they're taking jobs from us. I think China's the big threat as far as taking our industry from us. I mean, they didn't take it. We gave it to them. Basically, all these people decided in the 80s and 90s to do that. Mm-hmm. But they're the ones that he needs to come to some kind of agreement with.
Yeah. Let me just show you something else. And we've known people in our life that, I don't know this bad, but this is the economy stuff. This person was writing, she got $100,000 in debt for a master's degree in philosophy, and she's working at McDonald's. I don't know what to think anymore. And she was lamenting, hey, if you get your master's degree, then you're smart. You're going to get all these good high paying jobs. And no one wants it.
Well, I think the problem is everybody goes to school now or college. Mm-hmm. And it's like a bachelor's is not enough.
Right.
So you have to get a master's, and then you have to spend even more money. And by the time you get through there, and it's just been flooded because you have a lot of midwits that are going to school. Mm-hmm. That's why it would be nice if they could bring manufacturing back. But sometimes I feel like a lot of these people wouldn't do it anyway. People are kind of lazy now. Like you see that where I work, we just can't keep people. And I don't know. I've heard stories about other places too. It seems like a lot of people don't want to work. I don't want to say that because I know there are people that would. I would work in a factory if the pay was good.
Yeah, I think the way it used to be, the way it was enforced, is not that people wanted to do the jobs, but because they wanted to eat.
Yeah.
And jobs, it's funny how the things has really changed. And I don't want to sound like, oh, boomer, old, right. But back in the day, I can remember my grandparents and I probably your relatives too. People worked hard jobs, not because they found it fulfilling.
No, they did it because they needed to take care of their family. My dad was a roofer in Chicago. It was hard work.
Right. It probably wasn't, it gave them spiritual enlightenment.
No, Mosca's dad did the same thing. They did come home covered in tar and tired. Yeah. And That was like hard jobs. People now, there was a guy where I worked that bitches like, oh, it's just so hard. And it's like, our job's not that hard. Like, you are on your feet, but that's good for you to be on your feet.
Right.
I don't think it's good to sit down all day.
Yeah, I don't either. And I think it's you look at it, somehow there was a change. Everyone became so entitled, and I know not all women are like this, but remember all those women were posting like their silly jobs they had, like a Twitter. Mm-hmm. She was doing, my day of the life was a Twitter employee, and I get up and I go to Twitter and we have yoga class and I have a latte, and then we have a meeting.
That's not a job.
Then I have a meditation, and then we have a wine bar, and it's like that's like a social club. What the hell is that?
Who said that work is supposed to be fun? It's really not.
Well, work, exertion. I know. And we got away from this that now it's become something that's supposed to fulfill you spiritually. Otherwise, you don't want to do it.
I think you get fulfilled spiritually in your personal life and with your family and your beliefs. Your job is just a way to make money.
Right.
That's how I feel about it. I mean, I'm kind of hardcore about this. I don't believe in letting people starve. I'm not against the safety net, but I would have a thing. If there's jobs available and you're able to do it, you should.
And if you don't do it, then fine. You don't get welfare. You don't get food.
Yep.
And that's biblical. That's the Bible. The Apostle Paul says, if you don't work, you don't eat. And so all you Christians out there. And I think we've just become, so I kind of push back on the notion that Americans wouldn't do the job. I think they would if they had to. And I get a lot of the jobs would be automated now anyway. But it's still, you'd have some jobs. All right, staying in the economy stuff here. Let's take a look at this.
The economy does not seem good right now that I can see.
Breaking, California gas prices could soar 75% to $8.43 a gallon in 2026 due to shutdowns of two major in-state refineries, according to recent analysis by a USC professor. This is part of the equation. A lot of people don't understand why the price of oil goes down. How come gas doesn't necessarily go down? You need to refine the gas. Mm-hmm. And if this is, you just don't put oil directly in your car. You got to be in a refinery. And a lot of these states, they don't want refineries anymore because they make Mother Earth mad at us.
Well, how are they supposed to get gas?
Exactly. And so they're California and these weirdos, they're trying to do this. Because right now, like in Arkansas, I think the last time it's about $2.90 a gallon here.
Yeah, about $2.93.
Yeah, so we're one of the cheaper places.
But even that's not cheap for here because when Trump was in the first time pre-COVID, gas was around $2 a gallon.
Yeah, it was so this really impacts. And again, this is high gasoline tax is something high tax on gas they have in California. Plus, if they shut down the refineries. This is really hurting the lower wage people. Rich people don't care because if you're rich, you don't really care what the price of gas is. You can afford it. So this is just part of the craziness that California is doing. And Europe is doing a lot of this too because of their green scam bullshit. And it's up there with COVID and the scams. And I'm not surprised, but this is what we're seeing there. So. And let's see here. And guys, if you have super chats or rants or power chats, we will get them at the end of the show. So don't worry about that. And here is Bernie Sanders. I don't know if you saw this clip. It's kind of
I saw funny. There was a clip, but I didn't look at it because
all right, we'll take a look at that together here. And share the screen for you guys.
Rally.
Oh, that's not plugged in or something.
In a week.
All right, here
rallies in a week. The only way you can get around to talk to 30,000 people. Think I'm going to be sitting on a waiting line at United, waiting, 30,000 people are waiting. That's the only way you can get around. No apologies for that. That's what campaign travel is about. We've done it in the past. We're going to do it in the future.
So what he's talking about here, Sacha, is because he's supposed to be about all this green climate, but they always use their private jets. Mm-hmm. He goes, what do you want me to do? Wait in line at United?
Yeah.
And these people, they really have a sense that the rules don't apply to them.
Well, they're special. They're a special class, and we're all what is he, man? Like, we're the dirt people.
Dirt people. They're the cloud people.
Yeah.
They really have that thought. And because they asked Bill Gates, he made his whole thing about shaming people because they're destroying the climate. But then he has like 6 private jets. And someone asked,
hypocrites.
why do you need that? He goes, well, because I do important work. You know, they really think they're above everyone else. And my attitude is whenever they're doing this, I just disregard what they say.
Me too. Well, why is he campaigning anyway? Isn't he like 80 years old? What is he going to do? I mean, is he planning to run for president again?
Yeah, he's really old too.
And speaking of a leech,
yeah.
that guy didn't work or do shit till he was like 40. And then he got in the government and he's been leeching off the taxpayer ever since, talking about, oh, rich people and social equality, and to screw him.
Yeah.
It's amazing anybody takes that clown serious.
Yeah, they're trying to rebrand the Democrat Party because they ran into an issue of really what the Democrats are. And I know the Republicans have problems, but the Democrats have become so woke, all about men and wearing dresses and pronouns and all that, that it's really, they don't really have enough. They've lost their former identity.
They have.
And I think Bernie Sanders represents the old school Democrats, kind of the socialist type things. Not that I agree with that. So I think he's a part of the element trying to bring him back to that. And so the Democrats are, but they have a lot of goofy people, and they're trying to, they understand they have an issue. Even Michael Moore said, oh, no, we don't hate men, because they have this view. The Democrats, you think now, is anti-men, anti-white.
They are.
They're into this most extreme, like cross-dressers and restrooms and
kids,
aborting every kid they can.
Up to 9 months. It's not even like the old days, like safe, legal, and rare.
Right.
Now it's, oh, I had an abortion at 9 months. Clap for me at the Academy Awards and everything else. They went too far.
Yeah, this is what's so crazy about it. So the Democrats, they really are trying to redefine what they are. There's a portion of the Democrats that wants to go back to their root issues, you know, about being the working man, healthcare, that type of stuff. But you have all these crazies that have just taken the party in a weird way.
Well, they pandered to all those crazies.
They do. Okay, let's see here. I have another video here. And thank you, guys. This is our Daylight Dispatch. This is our first time on this show, so we'll hopefully build on this. Did you see this? This is a Frontier Airlines agent mocked a passenger after charging him a surprise $25 fee and denying him boarding. You thought you were going to get on your flight? So this is the service we get, right? These are the black women here. They're the Frontier agents. So for some reason they have their phones up. Let's listen to him. Let's listen to Frontier Airlines public service, how their employees treat people.
They made that flight. You did, and you think, oh, you're gonna check me in? I bet you we won't. Okay.
I paid for a ticket.
And you didn't pay $25 for agent assist fee, and you checked in 3 hours later. Hello.
I just said that I
get on your flight.
I just said that I would pay the $25.
And you thought you was gonna get on your flight. And you thought you was gonna get on your flight. And you thought you was gonna get on your flight. And you thought you was gonna get.
I love that cackle.
What's wrong with this
I love that cackle they do in the head bobbing and
she
all
should
that.
Be fired.
I literally.
That's right. That's right. You tell them.
We gonna fly you from your flight.
I'm here 30 minutes.
That's right. You got it. That's right.
I'm here 30 minutes before my flight, and they're not letting me check in.
And you're not getting on your flight.
Because it's a policy. We don't control that.
And you will never fly.
You were about to let me check in. You were about to let me check in, and you decided that you ain't gonna let me check in.
Make me check.
Look at it, cross her arms, her better.
What kind of customer service is this? We've never been treated like this before.
Right. But because they hired her because she's black and they can't, it's next to impossible to fire her because
I wouldn't even hire these people.
You literally work for a company that I bought a plane ticket for. I'm here 30 minutes before the flight.
Can you please leave, sir?
No.
Can you please leave my personal space?
I'm not in your personal space. This is not your personal space.
This is my stationery.
This is not your personal space. You work for a company. This is not your personal space.
We ain't gotta worry about it.
You don't have to worry about it. You're literally not doing your job for a customer that has paid for a plane ticket to get home.
I told you to stop putting the camera on, sir.
I'm literally here at Frontier. I bought a ticket and they are not letting me check in. For no reason whatsoever.
Well, you said you're never flying the airline again, so we might as well help you out and have you not fly the airline.
I've already bought a ticket. I've literally already bought a ticket, and this is your reaction.
This is why flying
What the
sucks now.
hell?
Yeah, I know. And people are so tired of this
So
bullshit.
are they going to be held accountable at all for behaving that way?
I
The guy
doubt
was
it.
polite, and
Yeah, I know.
they should get fired.
Yeah,
He was there before the flight. I don't even understand what the issue is.
I don't either, but this is where everything is just degraded now to such a degree. It really sucks. And that was horrible. All right, the other news, and a friend of mine, actually, that we both know, he, I think, kind of lives in this area. He flew in once and met me, but he sent me, this is Memphis. 3 black former Memphis police officers have been acquitted by a white jury over the murder of a man who died in a violent arrest. BLM wanted to riot until it was revealed that the cops were black. So some thug got killed by the cops because he was resisting arrest, and these guys were charged. But this is how everything is now racial, right?
Yeah.
So BLM doesn't care because these were black cops. Memphis is a shitty place because of a lot of crime and violence, and we can guess why. Who's doing the crime and violence? So I don't really care about that. This is, I don't know if you saw this, and it is part of what we're talking about, the big change. And
I did see this.
Why would you want to support a white racist?
Because I want to support free speech, and you cannot have free speech in the country.
No, that's fine. You can support free speech, but you also have to be accountable for what.
But then you don't have free speach.
No, and what does that
So
mean,
that's bullshit.
accountable?
What does that even mean? You have free speech, but if that'd be like saying North Korea saying, "Oh, you're free to protest over your leader, but we'll kill you."
Yeah.
I mean, what does that mean
That's not
then?
free speech.
Yeah, exactly.
What you say. She is. I mean, would you use the N word out of interest?
Yes.
That shocked him.
You would.
This is a forbidden word. You can't say it. Well, blacks can say it, or Kanye
Yeah.
can say it, but no one else
Yeah.
can say it. Did you see Kanye too? We'll get
Yes.
into that. He had his N-word Nazi
Hilarious.
salute. I know.
was cracking up.
I do quite frequently.
You use the N word quite frequently. Well, why? Other than the fact you're a despicable racist.
And so they're throwing terms at you. You know.
Are you?
Some would say I am. I guess according to the ADL, I'm a white supremacist. I'm a neo-Nazi.
Yeah. Well, if you use the N word repeatedly, you are a racist, then are you? Are you?
Sure, I'll embrace that. If that means forwarding, helping white people achieve freedom of speech, real freedom of speech, which, by the way, Shiloh Hendricks is being attacked on all fronts. They're trying to bring legal charges against her. They're trying to get her children taken away. So you were saying Carmelo Anthony, it doesn't matter. That's a different.
Sorry, but just to be
thing.
clear, you just said to me you use the N word regularly.
This is how and Piers Morgan is always like a gatekeeper. He's supposed to be on the right.
He's not.
But he's like, you never can criticize that one special group.
Wasn't he a classical liberal?
Yeah, but he's the one having this clutching his pearls.
Well, when does he
someone said
clutch
that.
his pearls when white people are attacked nonstop?
Yeah, never.
And they never say shit, just like that whole story about that Dave Portnoy.
Yeah.
And that whole thing with Jews. And it's like all these people on Con Inc. are upset about that. And it's like, where the hell were you people when whites were being attacked for the last 20 years? Like, I didn't hear any speak up about that.
Yeah, and he's acting like the morality police here, that he's so offended, and there's nothing worse in the world. Because in their mind, saying that the gamer word is equivalent to murdering
It's
someone.
a word. Well, I know they were saying that Shiloh lady's kid should have his head bashed in. Did you hear that?
Yeah,
Some black.
yeah.
Because he got racist parents, we need to go maybe knock him stupid. And it's like speech and violent. That's not even the same thing. Like they're like that poor kid that got stabbed. Oh, because he got in a fight with that guy, it was okay for him because he was somewhere he wasn't supposed to be. I don't even understand the thinking behind all this. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
In what context? Do you use it with black people?
Yes, if it's appropriate.
When would it be appropriate to use the N word? When would it be appropriate?
Anytime I feel like it.
So you're an unashamed racist.
Correct.
Do you understand that makes you a despicable human being?
Why?
Yeah.
I mean, who says?
Yeah.
Z-Man brought that up. Who says it's not in the Bible?
No.
And what does that word racist even mean?
That
Because
you
that
see
definition.
differences in people, I guess.
I know. What does that even mean? Because even Shiloh, when she said the gamer word, she didn't just go up to people that were minding their own business, right?
Yeah.
They were hassling, stealing her stuff. And why do you call him a gamer? And she said, well, because he's acting like a gamer.
Yeah, because he was. Well, it's like the Chris Rock thing.
Yeah, but that is true. Yeah, that's the
is.
reason. So, and this guy's trying to act like the morality police. And it's really effective to say, well, who made you God to determine this?
I think these people are all freaking out because white people are finally waking up and saying, like, we don't care anymore.
Well, the
Fuck
problem
you, we
is
don't
they
care.
pushed it so far because they said, basically the real radical left and woke people said all white people are racist no matter what you do.
Well,
So then everyone's like, well, fuck it then. You know what I mean? And so that's like they don't know how to handle someone like her.
Well, I think part of it too was when Austin Metcalf got stabbed. A lot of people woke up because I was on Facebook and I stumbled into this thing right after he died. Almost every white person in there was talking about how horrible it was. Almost every I saw one black person say this kid is a murderer, he should go to prison. One out of all the blacks. It was mostly black women defending that kid getting stabbed.
Right.
And it's like, I think white people were kind of like, whoa, like, no, this is messed up. And I think that was kind of a wake-up call. Like you said, now that X is free and things are more free, people see that they try to suppress all this shit for years. And I know you and Z-Man were talking like people that live in white areas don't understand. And it's true because I've lived, in white Arkansas when it used to be pretty white back in the 90s. And people I went to school with kind of think that way, like, oh, blacks are just so awesome and wonderful. And then you get exposed to like the crime and them trying to hustle you and shit. Like I've even seen it in Fayetteville where people come up, like some guy in the grocery store came up and tried to sell me drugs. I was like, I've been here to buy cereal, and people start to see this. It's like, I've never had a white person come up to me and try to sell me drugs in the grocery store.
Yeah. We shouldn't have to live like that, right?
Like,
we shouldn't have to live like that. And So I think that people's eyes are starting to finally be open because they're allowed to see all the fights in Target and all this stuff going on. Before you couldn't, they'd be like, no, you can't see this.
I guess so. I don't really care. I mean, why are we not talking about Shiloh Hendricks? Why are we talking about?
Well, actually, I think you've moved it on in this debate very quickly to your own racism, which explains why you've supported her in public and why you've got all these views. You see no problem with a woman shrieking the N-word repeatedly because you yourself are a despicable racist, and you've just proudly admitted that with a smug grin on your face, which is pretty horrifying.
Horrifying.
But he is more upset that somebody said a word than the fact that some kid was going through somebody's bag. And where the hell are this kid's parents? If they even come out, does this kid even have parents? That, and not to mention the guy filming it was a convicted sex pest on children. Doesn't care about that, but somebody said a naughty word.
Yeah.
It's bizarre.
Yeah.
We're like an upside down land.
We are, and I think people are getting tired of that. And it was set up as an ambush, and I'm glad that they did that.
Me too. I'm glad she stuck to her guns and was just like, yeah, I say it.
Yeah, and just a little thing. This is Cernovich, and a lot of these people are coming out, and they're
but doesn't he just come out for whatever gets him?
I don't know, but he was right about here. Rochester, Minnesota, where the park lady lived, Shiloh, it was completely transformed by open border NGOs. So this used to be an all-white area in the 90s. And then supposedly because of the civil war in Somalia, and they act like savages, for some reason we have some obligation to bring them in our country. Not Israel, because they got to, oh God, no, that'd be anti-Semitic, but we got to dump them in our country.
Well, they're always at war.
I know, they're always fighting. So it's
like, what are we supposed to bring their whole country here so we can be at war with them?
And he said, how do we get the rich conservative podcasters to move her wonderful neighborhood? No security, no nannies. Send your wife to the park by herself. I'm sure it will be great. This is the old thing that it is somewhat a class issue, whereas wealthy whites in their gated neighborhoods, they can virtue signal about this stuff and act like they're superior because they don't have to deal with it all the time.
Well, and they look down at whites. Like I had to live around it.
Yeah, they look down at
if you
poor
live in
whites.
apartments, it's just like you have to live. They don't give a shit. Like they don't care, and they're the same people who ship your jobs overseas and don't give a shit about you.
Yeah, it is different.
And
so
then
I think
put
part
George
of this,
Floyd statues or paintings up in town.
And it is pretty crazy. And then here was this. This is.
God, I did see this.
Yeah, I'll show you guys.
I
this
saw
real
a funny
quick.
comment about it too. Hey,
Kitty's in
buddy's
here.
here. Come on, buddy.
All right, let's see if I can show this. This is the tear down the statues of American heroes and replace them with statues of random obese black women. That's because the left has no historical heroes. Everyone born before approximately 2005 is inherently problematic.
And communicate those inner worlds that we have, and sometimes we misinterpret with one another, to try and create an understanding and basically encourage empathy.
I have a problem that you understand. We all need somebody to lead.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, they're all fat. So,
I did see a funny
this looks like the woman at the Frontier Airlines.
It does.
What do you mean, me? We don't get no refund.
I did see Lady Maga tweeted this, and he said, "Hey guys, no, this is a good thing. Obesity or diabetes awareness is like a real thing." It's just like, yeah, who paid for this?
Well, it is great. This looks like the image of everyone you see, like at the DMV in the city. No way, I'm gonna move fast for you.
At the airlines, at McDonald's.
Yeah, you get this whole attitude of like shit. Yeah, this is what they build statues of now. So yeah,
nothing
that's
beautiful. What happened to the RoboCop statue they were supposed to build in Detroit? That would be cooler than an obese black woman.
I can't wait for the day these statues get pulled down. I can't wait. Hopefully that day will come. And this was just really horrendous. And let me just see here. We do have some data on the racial discrimination that was targeted against white men specifically after George Floyd, because George Floyd, that thug, got killed. All white men collectively had to be punished. And she did the data showing we're hiring white men that most 48% reported being asked to prioritize diversity over qualifications.
Well, you see that all the time.
52% believe their companies practice reverse discrimination against whites. 53% feeling their job was at risk if they didn't hire enough diverse candidates. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I mean, they actively discriminated against whites to hire blacks.
Well,
and they bragged about it.
The collapse of everything, planes crashing and everything else when you do this.
Yeah, it's just like collective punishment white people have to suffer because of St. Floyd.
And they ought to be bowing down and kissing white people's ass, because you wouldn't have, civilization is because of white people.
Yeah, this
white men. It is. These people that come over here that shit on us, it's like, no, your countries were garbage. Like white people did almost all the good inventions, some Asians too. And that's, most other people didn't contribute much.
Hey, we already got a couple. We're already up to $22. So if we get to 50, we'll do a show on Monday. Bill Mitchell is done noticing again. Noticing again. Okay, thank you. This is Row House. Let's just take a look at this.
So are we just going to go and do the chats now?
Well, I want to do a couple. I will still do the show. I just wanted to kind of encourage people because people get it going here. I know I broke my own rule, but see, I can do that. When you're the boss, you can break your own rules. So I hesitate to post this because I don't want to sound racist, but I have to ask, all these huge brawls in public, this is what I was talking about between black people, a cultural thing. This is one of those like a naive boomer white that's never lived around diversity. And all they know about what they see as black is what Hollywood shows them, like Morgan Freeman, these wise people. Because you never really see a bunch of white people fighting in the street or public place like a mall or airport or restaurant. And so, this was his thing. He got 7.8 million views as he started to notice. And I think even the boomers are starting to notice this a lot. Hey, and this is Incel. How do you say that name? This is
Cletus the Fourth.
Yeah, $20 for the RAMZPAUL show. I watch later after the broadcast every day. Appreciate your commentary. All right, so we're up to 22, so that's a good start.
Did you get any on Rumble?
That was Rumble. Honey.
Oh,
yeah.
YouTube.
So, well, let me just take a look here, and then we'll just continue. And Oh, we got it already.
There's $50 right there.
Yeah, we got
Awesome,
it. All right,
thank you.
Monday, we got the
Rich
goal
Mountains,
already.
yay. So Paul will do a show Monday.
We are doing the show Monday.
Yay.
And
Well, and if you get 100, we'll do Night Owls. So how much is that? 50, 60, $72 so far?
yeah, so let's do.
Oh, there's another 5. We might be doing Night Owls. on
Yeah, I know.
Sunday.
Piers Morgan forgets to mention the kid stole from her bag. And kid, I don't know.
Yes, and he wasn't that small. They were like, he's 5. He looks a lot older than 5. And
Not-
then they try to say he was autistic.
This is a funny comment from Shakespeare, from K-Max. Not like he was reading Shakespeare book while the white woman screamed the gamer board.
Yeah.
It wasn't like they're just all minding their business. She decided, I don't like their skin color. And she ran over. No.
Yeah.
And then he goes, oh, the kid is autistic. And like, aren't they all autistic?
Yeah.
Or, because autistic is what we used to call mentally,
Well,
R word.
didn't Z-Man say that Somalis have like, I don't know if this kid was Somalian or he's just an American black, but did
No,
he say-
Somali, yeah.
Oh, he
So,
was too.
yeah.
Did he say their IQ is like
It was
70 or something?
there is low IQs. And this Rich Mountain 50, thank
Thank you.
you.
Oh, there's another one. Oh, it looks like we'll probably be doing Night Owls too.
Yeah. Mark Lamont Hill plays a victim that would be harmed by a word. He later did a space with rappers who said, if a person said the N-word to me, I'd crush in their skull. Play victim to camera, then act opposite
I
of it.
know.
Yeah, you don't have a right to attack someone because of a word they
No,
say.
you don't. But sadly, a lot of these people think you do.
Yeah. Kim C. Bernie Sanders, rules for thee, not for me.
Yeah, I can't believe people can't see what a hypocrite that guy is.
Yeah, and then here we go. Let's go Shiloh to 1 million. Give.
I hope she gets 1 million. I mean, her life is ruined because of this anyway. Is she ever going to be able to get a job and people are going to know like she's the woman that said the naughty word?
Well, she may not need the
Well, that's
get a
why.
job
Well,
after
that's
this.
why,
Yeah.
And hopefully they'll be wise with the money.
Yeah, well,
like invest the money. Or
yeah,
put
not
it in CDs or something. Don't go crazy with it.
yeah,
Like
so
that black lady that's son stabbed that kid, got her money, and then they bought a car with it.
the home, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I
that's-
heard that home belonged to somebody
Oh,
else,
really?
but they let them stay there. I don't know if that's true.
All right, and then here we go. So it looks like we've already made the goal, so that was good. And
Awesome.
I can't play this because they say the gamer word in here, but we'll just show the video part of it
Yeah,
anyway.
it's really cringe. So if you guys are listening, it is a bunch of guys wearing wolf masks.
This is Kanye.
It's really funny.
I gotta.
Uh-oh.
So skip ahead. There's these black guys dressed up as wolves.
And they all look very angry.
And they're saying the gamer word and Heil Hitler.
And Kanye was talking about how he couldn't see his children. See, that's kind of sad to me. Are those real? Do you think those are real wolf heads?
I don't know. It is kind of cool though. I mean, it's something like a World of Warcraft where you could have a wolf
I
head.
don't like using animals. If the animals died for that, I'm
How
not
did
a
he?
fan.
How did he get all these blacks to get it together to say the Heil Hitler?
He's Kanye. They love him.
But don't
He's
they know
rich.
that that's supposed to be evil to
They
say
don't
something?
care. Do you
Yeah, I
think
know.
they give a shit?
No. That reminds me of like, well, part of the reasons that they hate the gamer word is because of the legacy of slavery, and I'm like, they don't think that. Most of them.
Yeah,
most
there's
of them
maybe
don't.
a few smart ones, but it's like
Most
the majority don't.
They don't
have
think
deep
beyond
thoughts.
an hour ahead in their day.
I worked
mean,
with this black girl, and there's a guy that I work with, and
Yeah.
he's real quiet. This was years ago.
Yeah.
And he never talked to anybody. She's like, he don't like colored folk. And we're like, no, he doesn't talk to anybody. It has nothing against you.
Dave,
No,
$20.
$25.
25. Thank you,
So
Dave.
we're doing. Looks like we're doing Night Owls. I think you got $100 there.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we
Awesome.
are. So we are doing night owls too. So thank you guys. We made our goal. So good.
Awesome.
Excellent.
And if anybody has ideas of a topic for Night Owls, we can do.
That's the Sunday night,
Yeah,
right?
I know,
Yes.
because I haven't thought about. I'm
Well,
gonna go
we'll
see
do
a movie.
night owls. We do movies and stuff.
I'm
like
gonna
that.
go, but you're not going. You said
That's
you didn't
okay. I
wanna
can
go.
riff off
You
stuff,
could
so.
go. Me and Brandon are gonna go see a clown in the cornfield on Saturday.
Excellent.
But Paul said he didn't want to go. So if you went, we could talk about the clown in the cornfield.
What do you see that? Yay, his video already got pulled from like.
Yeah, you
so-
told me.
the thing with it's like, and I tweeted, it's like a Dave Chappelle skit. It's really weird
Yeah.
because I don't think Kanye. I really do think I never thought he was really that bright to begin with.
Neither
But
did I.
I think seriously, he's got like schizophrenia.
He does.
And so
Something's
he's
wrong.
got something mentally wrong with him, not just because of his ideas, because you could be a National Socialist and make a case for it. I'm not saying I support it, but but he doesn't really support the ideology. It's just something edgy, I guess. I don't know, because he jumps all around from.
Well, he's upset because he can't see his kids, but it's like the guy acts crazy. They played a clip of him on Kino Casino hanging out with Fuentes, and he had a mask over his head, and he was mumbling. You could barely understand what he was saying, but he kept talking about how they wouldn't let him see his kids, and he's like, "I'm gay," and they're like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, rewind this." It's really funny. So he's definitely off. Oh, and he was a cuckold too. Him and this other guy, Sneeko, were talking about how they like to swap.
The lyrics of the song saying he likes that.
Yeah, I know. He said he liked it. It was on that thing. They both said it.
And then he came out with a song how he had a homosexual relationship with his cousin.
Ugh. And it's like, yeah, if you were molested or something by a cousin, maybe keep it to yourself. It's kind of like that woman that Mackenzie Phillips slept with her dad and wrote a whole book talking about. It's like, ugh, why are you telling people this shit? Like, there's something, you should be ashamed of this. And I guess she is, but I wouldn't tell people if,
Yeah, no,
we live in a time where people have to tell you all their business, and it's like, maybe keep some of that shit to yourself.
But for what he does, so he does all that, then he posts interracial porn. Then he was this the other day, so he couldn't. He was saying really how the situation work is the special people from the Middle East that are God's chosen all-stars. They really are controlled by the whites, who are controlled by the Catholic Church. I
saw that.
And so that doesn't even make sense from like the Groyper point of view of being Catholic and Christ is King and all that.
Well, I don't know how.
But then they elevate Kanye, and I'm like, how do you wrap your head about this? So Kanye, he's not a National Socialist.
No.
He just has these random. As I told Sacha today, if he wasn't really rich from being a rapper, he'd be one of those guys you would see out the street corner on the street just yelling weird shit.
Mm-hmm. Was he always like that, do you think, or did he do drugs?
I think he got worse. I do think he's had a mental break.
I think he's my age. I think we're around the same age.
Yeah, so it's I don't think that's. I don't think he is a Nazi. I don't think he can't even understand really what that means.
No.
Didn't
he marry one? A Jew?
Yes.
That lady after Kim Kardashian?
Yeah, he made her dress naked.
Yeah.
And so he doesn't have a coherent worldview because he's schizophrenic.
Yes.
And so in a way, it's just and I know a lot of these people flip-flop, but he's in a different category.
Yeah, he seems off for sure.
And so he always does these weird things.
He really should have somebody put him on medication. He needs to be on medication. But a lot of people like that. I worked with a lady like that. They'll be fine. They'll be on their medication. They'll start to feel better. So they stop taking their medication. Bipolar people do this too. And then they're crazy again. And then they have to go through the cycle. And I wonder if that's what's going on with him.
Could you imagine if you had a time machine and went back to the 1930s Germany and told Hitler that in 2025 there'd be a black rapper dressed as a wolf shouting Heil Hitler? As Z-Man said, he would have just stuck for caning at that point. Like, what the hell? It's just bizarre, but it is funny though. It's funny. I'll give it that. But
you guys should go listen to the song if you can find it, because it's like, well, you found it, so it's on there somewhere.
Well, they're going to pull it though once they.
You could pirate it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Not that I'm advocating that, but.
Yeah, there are.
Somebody's got that. It's like, come on, it's on Rumble or somewhere.
Yeah, it's Kanye doing his thing. So that was really great. All right, let's just take a look here. And let me just bring this up. I think I have another thing. I wanted to go over this too, basically. What do you think about this whole? Have you heard this? I think this James Lindsay, he's really started this whole woke right thing.
Oh, it's so stupid. I heard you guys talking about how he said Matt Walsh was woke right.
Yes.
Man started laughing, and I kind of did too. Because I've heard even people I know say that word woke right, but I think the way they mean it is like, because like me and Mosk and Brandon talked about it, I think they mean it's like these people are kind of like the left, but they're on the right now. Like
it's the old horseshoe theory.
Right, but that's what they mean. But it's like anybody now that disagrees with Con Inc. is considered woke right.
And a Z-Man, he posted, and this is true, because the reason woke, because we used to call it social justice warriors.
Yeah.
And then people on the radical left, they called themselves woke because they were awakened.
Right.
And it was a good thing. But then everyone started making fun of that term.
Yeah.
And so everyone abandoned that term. And now they're like, no, you're the woke people. So now we have leftists that used to embrace the term being woke, saying that people that are, it's just really bizarre. It's like everyone calls everyone else a Nazi. Like always, like in the Ukrainian war, and I won't go over the Ukrainian war, but it's so dumb that like Russians keep calling the Ukrainians and Zelensky a Nazi. I'm like, Zelensky's Jewish. What are you talking about? But it's just a term that it just means bad is all it means now. But it's kind of funny because it used to be like a good term they had. But now I think they mean by woke right is, if you oppose Zionist Israel control of the U.S. government, you're woke. If you notice patterns, I think that means
then that means Ron Paul and them are woke too, because they're against the control over our government.
Yeah, it was really dumb, that whole thing. And I think it's their way to try to rein everyone in. Like, well, we're the good conservatives. Who's that? The guy that always cries all the time? Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, he's
really the one that always tries to do that. Like, oh, to be conservative really means you have to support Israel, and and if you disagree with him, you're demonic.
Well, I don't understand, and my friend is like this too. He's a Zionist, but because of his religion. But I don't understand. They're okay with them killing kids in Gaza because they're trying to give them aid, and the Israeli military's blocking them. So these kids are starving to death, and it's like, oh, you're against abortion, but you're okay with them killing kids that are alive. It doesn't make any sense to me just because they're not on the right side. They're kids. Right. You shouldn't be for killing children. And there was some guy that's like a representative. Did you see that? I should have found that clip. He was basically bragging about how they're letting children starve over there, and this guy's a big Zionist, and it's just bizarre. It's like, and he got money from like these anti-abortion.
And don't get me, and I agree. And don't get me wrong, I have no sympathy. I don't want the Palestinians in our country.
No, I don't either.
And I have no sympathy for them. But it is that Israel's committing a genocide.
It is.
But because my grandparents miraculously survived the Holocaust, that gives me the right to kill everyone. That seems to be the argument.
I mean, and then these are the same people too that control our government. That Trump wants to deport people, and you can't. You have to give due process to all these people. There was some guy on Megan's show yesterday saying, "I was like, we can't do that." They fucking they came in here, and broke our laws. Yeah. And like we're supposed to give them kick them out. Like who cares? Nobody wants them in here. And then I've seen some of these conservatives saying it's going to cripple the economy when they're here, and it's like, oh, so you have to pay people a wage because it's all about slave labor. Right. They want slave labor. They don't want to pay people. Because this whole, we won't do it, Americans, but yes, they will. Like my ancestors did it. I've done it. I've got friends. We all do like shitty menial jobs. People do it, but you got to pay us. We don't live 10 to a house. We have to pay taxes and Social Security. We can't afford to live the way they do. We're just we're different people. They're addicted to the slave labor. And I think the Republicans are too. Yeah, a lot of them are. Because it's like, if Trump really wanted to stop a lot of this, just do E-Verify, and then they can't hire these people, but he never does that. So it's like, because he gets money from some of these people, I'm sure. He used slave labor in the past. So.
Hey, you want to read Carrie Cox? She left a tip.
Hey, thank you. Hi, Paul and Sasha. It's great to see you both this afternoon. That's all. I haven't checked in for a while. Keep exposing the regime. Thank you. It's good to see you too.
And Bernie
Sanders rules for thee, not for me. I think we read that one, but thank you.
Oh, okay.
We read the KMAX one. We read the Monday one. We read that one. So read all those, I think.
Yeah, cool. And I just want to make sure I got everything here. And
did you read Johnny? Or is that from yesterday?
I missed these. Came in late yesterday, so let's just get these. So okay. I'll read. Johnny, does it help to?
Does it help whites to be nice, but only up to a point? I've never seen groveling work with blacks. Even during my school days, I remember nice whites get taken advantage of by blacks for their groveling. Never is kindness treated with reciprocity.
Yeah, that's hard to say. Reciprocity. Yeah, well, you gotta you got to earn someone's respect.
Mhm.
So if you want to be treated with respect, you got to be treated with respect. This is why I don't hate this. Everyone calls everyone, oh, well, we arrested this gentleman. Well, he's not a gentleman.
No, he's not.
So you got to earn the respect, and you got to earn, I would say, kindness. It doesn't mean you got to be cruel to people, but if people are abusive, you don't have to treat them with respect.
No, you shouldn't.
And you got to earn the respect. So I agree with that. And with anyone, with any race, you don't have to, you should start out civil with people, but if they act like an animal, you shouldn't treat them with respect.
No, you shouldn't. Joseph, thank you. Has it ever been asked, why should white people care so much about the plight of black people, but not our own? The question is never asked, why do their problems have to be our problems? If we stopped caring, what would change?
Well, I think
care.
the leftist view of this is like, well, they were brought against their will, meaning their ancestors' slaveries, but that doesn't count the Somalis.
It was so long ago.
Yeah, I know. But so they were brought over and they're being kept down because of white supremacy. That's why they act that way, is because they're not given enough money.
But then Asians come over here and they excel. I mean, that's why there's big holes in that. They don't cause problems.
That's why
Asians are always easy to get along with.
That's why there's such tensions between the two groups.
Yeah, Brandon went to Japan and he said it was clean. It's one of the biggest cities. Tokyo said it was clean and everyone was nice. And he said you would be shocked.
Well, as I told Z-Man last night, and I've said this before, and I'm a firm believer, one of the reasons for the biggest problems that we have in our country right now is based on something that's false. And that's the belief that all groups are exactly the same.
But they're not.
But they're not. But
no.
the belief is that they are. And it's a religious belief. It's not based on science.
Now it's men and women are all the same.
Well, yeah,
it's
it's men and women are the same. And it's ridiculous. Hey, let's see here. This is just 2 minutes, but this is Row House, $5. Okay, thank you. Did we get, hang on here. Oh, wow. Here we go.
Whoa, 55. Whoa, buddy.
Yeah.
Paying for another show during next week. You owe me. Just kidding. Love the show.
All right. Well, actually, I am going to do Tuesday now.
Yeah, do too.
So
and
Monday and Tuesday.
If you make $50, if you made $100, we could do Night Owls and that. And then if you made additional 50, you could do a Tuesday show.
Yeah. So Tuesday, I got Tuesday for that.
Right. so Monday and Tuesday and Night Owls. So you guys get 3 shows. Thank you.
Yeah, I know. Okay.
I like him doing a show too because it gives me stuff to listen to.
This is just 2 minutes, but it's a goal. But it's gold. Okay. So this is Eating the Roan over Israel.
Oh, I seen this guy.
All right. Let's take a look here.
777.
Yeah. Lucky Vegas.
We were Zionists. We left because we were no longer safe.
Okay.
Explain to me.
I can't wait to bring up Avi Shlaim on the broadcast to make you fucking look like a dumbass.
I can't wait to. And now explain what he means by that. We did not leave Iraq because we were Zionists. We left because we were no longer safe.
Iraqis are not Palestinian. You fucking moron. You racist piece of shit.
What?
Because Iraq and the pan-Arabic nationalist movement that arise out of
you are out of your mind.
Is not about Palestinians.
Okay, so what did the Jews in Iraq have to do with fucking Israel? You bigot.
Actually fucking
you are so out of your mind.
And then
I love it. So 2 leftists are calling each other bigots and racist. And one, I guess, is a Jew, and the other's pro-Palestine or something.
That's Chank's is his nephew?
Which one?
The other guy.
Dude, you screaming and grandstanding doesn't mean you're right.
Iraqi government.
All right, so this is the guy that supports the Palestinians.
Yeah, I think he's Chank's nephew, the guy from the Young
Racism during the pan-Arabic nationalist movements as a vindication for why, or a comparison to why Israel had to do the Nakba.
Do you think
you fucking racist piece of shit?
Thanks, Hassan.
Do you think Iraq?
Do you
think all Arabs have one fucking mind?
Why
Is that what you think?
Were the Iraqi Jews leaving Iraq in fear?
Of course, there were Iraqi Jews that left Iraq in fear. I've never said that there were no
Answer
Iraqi
the question.
Jews that left
You want to
Iraq
call
in
me
fear.
racist? Why were Iraqi Jews leaving to go to Israel?
Because you're a fucking moron.
That's why they left. They left because I'm a fucking moron.
That Arabs are
Hassan,
not
you
one-minded.
coward.
That there
You
were numerous
coward.
pan-Arabic
Answer
nationalist
the
movements
question. You're going to
that
call
were
me
sparking
racist,
up
but you won't
all around
answer.
the region,
Why
Ethan.
did the Iraqi Jews leave Iraq?
There were numerous
because of
reasons. Why did the Israeli
anti-Semitism.
government-
This anti-Semitism versus racist. This is, you got to have a heart of stone not to laugh at this. And this is really dividing the left.
Well, Kino covered this, and I didn't watch it because I didn't know, but now I might actually watch it. They covered this whole debate.
They hated Jewish people that had nothing to do with Israel. They were forced to leave. They were chased out. They lived there for thousands of years.
People.
They
Yes,
had businesses, they had homes that they were forced to abandon to go to Israel because it's the only fucking place they.
This is like the fight between Pakistan and India. Either way, we win. You know what I mean?
Unless they become refugees, then we all.
But
lose.
I mean, I don't really care either of these two people's sides, you know, because they both have their desert religions that are over here, and they're bringing their feuds over here.
Yeah,
they could. Why would Iraqis hate the Jews living there if they had nothing to do with Zionists or Israel? Why?
Because settler colonialism
that has nothing to do with them. You absolute fucking dumbass.
That was funny. That's the first time I saw that clip.
I might listen to the Kino Casino. They cover the whole thing.
Yeah, it is.
Debate. He said it was Kino.
Well, this is the left has a problem, or at least the Israeli lobby, because historically the left has been kind of controlled by them. Mm-hmm. But now you have a lot of the left. In fact, the majority of left is anti-Israel because of what's happening in Gaza.
They are. Well, and it is pretty effed up.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a fan of like the Palestinians, but at the same time, you listen to Ron Paul's show and they talk about how they're keeping food from children.
Yes.
The children have nothing to do with this. You don't have to, we're not even allowed to kick Mexicans out of the country, and these people can
starve people to
everybody,
death.
Yeah.
And then if you ever say anything against them, anti-Semitism, remember the Holocaust.
Maybe you should have it somewhere else. I'm not against Israel having a place, but maybe we shouldn't be paying for it, and it should be somewhere else. Like, what did Milo say they should get Vermont or something like that?
Here's one, a rant.
Oh, thank you. I haven't heard anyone talk about the idea of a white general strike. Do you think this could still be feasible action for demanding change?
No, I don't think it would be feasible. I wouldn't be opposed to it, but just white people striking in general. It's just these things, they kind of reminds me, remember supposedly after Trump won, all the women went on a sex strike. They said, all these things are always so stupid. They never, so
right. I mean, the problem is you would have to get everybody to be on board, and people are not going to be on board. That's like a lot of people wouldn't do it.
Well, because there's, as Zeman and I have said, really the problem is the 20% of white people that are real.
They are
psychotic.
Yeah, because you could even talk about the Jays, but they're only 2% of the population.
Yeah, there's a problem with like 20% of our white population that's just self-hating, and
it's not even just white people. Always blame white women, but Asian women and black women vote.
Yeah,
they vote more left than white women do.
Yeah,
I think sometimes it's because I work with white women and they're really cool. Most of them are cool and they're not like woke shit libs. But I think it's because the loudest voices get amplified on X. And so you would think in your mind like, oh, it's all these Karens, but that's not always the case.
All right, we'll wrap up here soon. I want to get your opinion because this is like where we live. This guy wrote an article, The Phenomenon of Bud Sex Between Straight Rural Men. And so these guys, so it's like where we live, these guys are having anal sex with each other, and they're not gay, they're just having bud sex.
Gross.
And I looked up the guy that wrote this article. He lives in Brooklyn.
Yeah, of course.
And he goes out for Chinese on Christmas. Let's just say
this
that.
Is probably a fantasy this guy has. And
yes.
If you saw how obese the people in rural Arkansas were, he wouldn't have these fantasies. Because when you go to some of these restaurants, man, these people can barely get out of their chair. They're so huge.
Well, you've seen the guys around here. Do you really think they're engaging in bud sex around here like her neighbor?
It's like in that movie Bruno. Remember where he went camping with the redneck guys and they all were real uncomfortable? That's how it would be.
Yes. No, that's
you should send that to Moscow. He'd probably get a chuckle out of that.
Yes. It is this weird porn fantasy of someone that lives his whole life in New York City. It's sort of like, and I've talked to you about this, others, but I think the movie that best represented the South recently was Sling Blade. Is that the name of it?
That was not even recent. That was 30 years ago.
But it was still pretty accurate portrayal.
Well, it took place in the South too. It was
in Arkansas. Yeah.
And he's from Arkansas, Billy Bob.
But you contrast that to like Deliverance.
Yeah.
That's not realistic.
No.
So a lot of these people that live in New York City, they've never been in the South, and they have these fantasies of
People
how
in the South are
is.
actually really nice.
They are.
Like if you broke down, I remember my sister got a blowout when I was in high school. This guy stopped and he changed our tire. And like you were walking and several people stopped to ask you if you wanted a ride. That's happened to me before.
Yeah.
When you get out of Fayetteville's a little different, but people are pretty nice there too. But like the people are just the rural people are kind usually.
Yeah, they are, and they do a lot of good stuff. So I do believe that's the case. So
check and make sure we got everything before we go.
And
We got him. We got that one. Did you check Rumble again? Just make sure. Did that one.
Second, let me just think. There's So we got that one guy paid for the Tuesday show. What was his name? Thank him again, by the way.
We'll show his name is Truth.
Truth. So yeah, Tuesday show, Monday and Tuesday because of the truth.
So you get a Night Owls Monday show and a Tuesday show, guys.
Yeah.
Keep it up. Keep it coming.
You guys been awesome. So
yes, and my birthday is Tuesday, so that's cool.
It is. Happy
so,
birthday early.
Yeah.
And that should be a lot of fun. And yeah, it's been great. It's been great getting together and streaming again.
It is.
It really was. And I thought it was a fun show.
I get wrapped into doing my own thing, and then I have to drive to work, and
yeah,
there's just been a lot going on. So,
but I think we'll definitely continue this. I told Sacha, I didn't know if we get any donations, but you guys have been great. And I said, well, let's just try it out for like a month or so, see if we get engagement. But we have
this
pretty
was
good
my
engagement.
idea because I was kind of getting burnout on trying to think of stuff for Night Owls, and I said, why don't we just do the news? Because we always talk about the news anyway.
It does perfect. So we'll keep this as our Thursday show, and then I'll do, definitely a show Monday and Tuesday.
And then you do your Friday show anyway.
Yeah, I do that tomorrow. I have my Friday show. So
are you going to have anybody on or just you?
No, I don't have a guest tomorrow. It'll be just me, but that's okay. Yeah, last week I had Sticks, which was fun. So I'll have guests occasionally on that show. So it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah, and hi Leslie, I see you in there now.
Yeah. So guys, it's great to see you guys again, and thank you so much. And we'll hope you guys have a great rest of the day.
Yeah,
Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.